Is Teofimo Lopez a failed prospect? At only 26 years old, we've already seen Teofimo Lopez pretty much have a full career, going through ups and downs in his career and basically, in my opinion, being this generation's Adrian Broner.
I left with his belt and his girl.
Well, not as bad. And we all know what we think of when it comes to Adrian Broner. To sum it up, wasted talent. But can we even consider Teofimo in that same category? It's no surprise that Teofimo is definitely a huge talent, but has he wasted the talent that he has? Let's first dive into Teofimo's story and where it all began. He was a pretty good amateur from Brooklyn, New York, and signed to top rank as a pro at around 18-19 years old. He built himself a name from finishing his opponents in big fights after his wins. He went a little bit viral for all these. He was building himself an amazing record, knocking out all of his opponents with ease, having crazy speed, power, timing, and accuracy. Teo was a pretty big prospect in the game alongside names like Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, and it was at this point the lightweight division was stacked with future great potential. The big four being Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, and of course Teofimo Lopez. At 22 he stepped up his competition and fought for a lightweight world title against another undefeated fighter in Richard Comey, in which he wiped the floor with him, knocking him out in the second. At this point, he called out for one of the pound-for-pound greats at the time.
Fights, and that you would be fighting Vasily Lomachenko in your 16th fight.
You guys know who you want, man. 2020, it'll be going down.
At this time, he was unified lightweight world champ, and the fight was made where Teo boxed his way to a unanimous decision victory against one of the best boxers on the planet at the time, becoming unified at only 23 years old. I think it's fair to say Teofimo was on top of the world at this point, even making some pound-for-pound lists, and basically at this point was deemed to be a future great. But what went wrong from here? Well, his next fight just after this changed it all for him, announcing he would fight George Kambosos Jr. and was a huge favourite to win, obviously. But the way he came out in that fight was just horribly wrong. I think he underestimated Kambosos massively and came in from the first round trying to knock him out. Obviously Kambosos is a well-experienced vet and definitely isn't a joke, and was able to make him pay for this, causing Teo to get dropped for the first time in his career. Looking back at this fight, this was honestly one of the best fights I've seen in recent years. It was action-packed, but Kambosos boxed his way against Teo to a decision win. And it's fair to say that Teofimo Lopez went from the top of his career, having the world at his feet, to rock bottom in just one fight. And of course, people were quick to say Teo was overhyped, but I still to this day believe that Teo is a better fighter than Kambosos, but just had a horrible game plan going into it. And with a different plan and mindset, I think he would have breezed through Kambosos. But who is to blame for this weird and terrible game plan? I, like many others, believe it's his trainer, aka his father. It just seems from the advice his dad gives him that he's in desperate need of a new coach.
Finish him already, what the fuck is going on?
Someone that can see his great talent and take him under his wing to create a Hall of Famer fighter. From this fight, it only went downhill from Teofimo Lopez. With family problems, from getting divorced to his wife, his relationship with his slightly crazy father, and many other things that we probably don't know about.
Say that. Don't get into that. Ain't no holding up.
Hey, Junior.
Then let it be. What are you scared of? Let it be. What are you scared?
This showed in his performances in the ring, getting dropped by fighters that he should be destroying, and having close fights to people who I wouldn't even consider on Teofimo's level. All these fights made people believe that it was over for Teo, up until he announced a fight with Josh Taylor, who had also just come off a controversial win against Jack Carroll, which many believed to be a robbery, me included. I don't think people expected too much from Teofimo Lopez, but he in fact came out in this fight and beat Josh Taylor with ease, having one of the best performances we've seen from him. This all of a sudden put him back in that race for being great once again. Everyone was excited that Teo was back, although he did do some weird things like saying he's retired.
What's next? What's next? Really? Maybe retirement?
But that didn't last long, as he announced his fight against Jermaine Ortiz next. A fairly solid contender with a solid record. Oh my, was this a terrible fight to say the least. And I don't know who was worse. It was another super controversial fight where Teo did not show up again, but you had Jermaine Ortiz running around the ring, not getting involved for 12 rounds. I think Ortiz had a good game plan against Teo, trying to stick and move the whole fight to maybe get a points decision, but I do think he was too inactive and didn't land anything of any significance. But at the same time, Teo couldn't find a way to break down Ortiz and was clearly getting frustrated. And that's what I think Teofimo's biggest problem is. He fights too much controlled by his emotions, and that clearly from previous fights has been the worst thing to do. Teofimo Lopez is a very skilled and talented boxer only when he's patient and boxes smart. And with Teo, we never really know how he's going to show up on the night. It's a complete hit or miss with him. At 26, it's fair to say he's had a whirlwind of a career, having a couple of notable wins to top names. So what's next for him? Well, he's apparently set to face Steve Claggett in June, who, after looking at his box rec, does not seem like anyone that would be a notable win to Teofimo's career, and will really add no relevance and won't put him back in that race to be a top contender again. Which at this point I think he needs to be doing. He definitely needs to be making those top fights happen so that he can get back to the point that he was once at. So will Teofimo Lopez be a waste of talent, or will he get back in the race and become a great? Honestly, I think he has a lot of time to do so, as he's still super young at only 26 years old. And to be honest, I really do hope to see him back at that point, because a Teofimo Lopez on a good day has to be one of my favorite fighters to watch. His entertainment is unmatched. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on him in the comments. Will Teofimo be on top again, or is this the end for him? But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this one, make sure you hit that thumbs up and make sure you press that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.